Hey, let's go. Get in here. Get in here right now. Get in here. Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. That's our bad in the first half. It ain't happening. We get the ball. I promise you one thing. We're going to hit somebody and we're taking down the field. Protect them. I guarantee you that.
Guarantee.
Look at me. Look at me.
Let's go.
We got 30 minutes.
Let's go.
For the rest of our lives.
Let's go. Let's go. Lock on. Hey. Hey. Lock on. Lock on. Hey. Put your arm on the back.
And welcome everybody to another episode of DC Sports Daily. This is your host Cory alongside my buddy Jack Maestri. Before we get into the Nats, I think we're going to cover some college football since today is the big opening day, even though it started on Thursday. We'll cover some Redskins here tonight as well. I would let Jack talk, but I've been fired up all day.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Maybe just let everybody know one thing about the show that's changed this episode.
We finally have microphones. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, maybe that was just a little reminder to make sure that you don't move around too much.
Right.
And
I got you.
Talking to the mic. We're professionals.
Yeah, before we get started on today's episode, I got to vent a little bit. As you guys know, or have come to find out, I'm a big Florida Gator fan, and we had a big game here on opening Saturday of college football season. And I will go all over the place on this game, but I wanted to throw my monitor out of the freaking office that I was in because I worked all day today. And sorry, I'm coughing a lot, but I'm okay. I got my throat cleared now. First things first. Why are there 11 players that don't give a damn about the sport they play and would rather smoke a freaking blunt rather than play against the 11th ranked Michigan Wolverines? That got under my skin. Second, I have seen 10 quarterbacks play since Tim Tebow left. Everybody called Tim Tebow one of the best college football players ever to play the game. You know what? He was Jesus-filled, and that's great. But he screwed my team. He really did. He left us with nothing.
He forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb. How about that? But that was perfect timing. He was Jesus-filled. Could you comment on that, please?
You know, that whole Tebowing thing and how he always wanted to preach Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. First off, first things first, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Excellent. Great. You know what? Not only did you make Urban Meyer have a heart attack, quote unquote, and leave my team and leave us stranded with nothing to go on, you then made us go through now 10 quarterbacks since you left in 2010, I believe it was. You won us championships, or one champion, two, yes. I don't know. Whatever. So thank you, Tim Tebow. But don't leave my team this bad.
You know that Tim Tebow played in college, which means that he could stay for a certain number of years, and then he had to graduate and move on.
It's a good point.
You know, he's not doing anything to your team.
Have you seen my
currently.
Quarterbacks the past 4 years?
If you want to blame
For fuck's sake, here's the thing. Jordan Reed is an NFL tight end. He played quarterback for my team. That's where my quarterback situation is. I can never play against any good team ever because this is what happens.
So, I'm just saying, if you want to blame somebody...
Urban Meyer is the problem.
There you go. You can talk about Urban Meyer all you want.
But actually, with all due respect, not with all due respect, with all the respect at hand, I'm a huge Harbaugh fan, and he was definitely prepared. I mean, he's got a stellar defense, and all they wanted to talk about was there was only 5 returning starters on the Michigan team, and their defense looked like one of the best defenses I've seen, like almost top-notch to Alabama last year.
That could also be because Florida has one of the worst offenses that
Florida's
we've
been
seen.
really bad, and that's why I touched on Tim Tebow. Yeah. Why is it the conference of the SEC always gets touted as best, which they are, simply because of the continuous title contenders? But my point is, not only my point, I was going to touch on this before OT from Office Talk had an in on this. But he said, why is it teams like LSU and Florida never have an offense?
Yes. We will get some good rants from OT soon on why teams like LSU and Florida can never field an even decent or average offense. They're just awful. And his second rant is going to be on why coaches are so dumb. I think primarily thinking about South Carolina's coach.
Yeah. So that whole offense thing, it really makes no sense to me because LSU and Florida get the same amount of 5-star recruits, always in the top 10. 5-star recruits on both sides of football. Their defenses are always ridiculous. They're always in the top 10 of defenses overall. I don't know how you do defensive statistics like that. But Florida is always up for DBU, which, again, 2 pick sixes today. That's their offense. For the most part, I don't understand. I really just want a quarterback. We have 3 different quarterbacks this year that we want a platoon. Why? How about we just stick with one bad quarterback?
Who's the third one?
Del Rio.
Jack?
The son. Luke
Del Rio.
Yep.
Son of Jack Del Rio?
Mm-hmm. He was
he didn't play today, did he?
No, but he started for us last year, and I think we started like 6-7-0, and then he hurt his knee in the Tennessee game, and then we started searching for quarterbacks again. And when he came back, he is now third on the depth chart.
Where did this guy come from?
Del Rio?
No.
Felipe Franks?
Nope.
Zaire?
Yeah, Zaire. Did he come from Notre Dame?
Yes.
Was he their starter?
No. Deshaun Kaiser, who's now the
No,
Browns.
I know that, but...
No, he was always like that guy that would come in certain situations.
I'm just trying to think.
Quarterback.
So when Notre Dame played UVA a couple of years ago...
He probably was in because UVA stunk.
Well, no, UVA gave him a game. Like, UVA was beating them.
Okay.
And their starting quarterback got hurt. Then their backup came in and threw a 90-yard touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Zaire might have been one of those
probably
2 quarterbacks.
Well, I know he only had, from 2014 to 2016, he only had 800 total yards. So he couldn't have played that much.
Yeah, I think 90 of them were on that throw against UVA.
But he's a grad, so he graduated from there. He was
Graduate
definitely
transfer?
part of the... Yeah. He's a 5th-year senior, or whatever you want to call it. But some good college football overall today.
Great college football. It's great for it to be back, but you know what's also back that comes with college football inevitably?
What?
Horrible college football referees.
Oh my gosh.
And stupid rules.
You know what? Targeting has got to go.
Targeting has gotten out of control.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so first play from scrimmage of the Michigan-Florida game.
They want to throw the flag immediately.
Runner gets 1 foot out of bounds, gets hit. You could throw the flag like they did for late hit, unnecessary roughness.
Which is the right call.
But then you got to stop the game.
Review.
And you got to go up to the booth and see whether this is a malicious hit above the shoulders to a defenseless player. And it takes forever because the
what
rule,
is there to see? There's a rule, and you follow it. If
the
he
rule
doesn't,
is so subjective. Like, it's really a toss-up each time that I feel like there's just a crew of 10 people around. Like, okay, let's take a vote.
You want to eject him?
Yeah.
Raise your hand. It's
and
all the same.
It's so situational too. Yeah. Like, I feel like they didn't eject the kid from Michigan because it was the first play of the game.
Freaking play of the game.
But then we just saw a play in the Louisville-Purdue game where it's now getting down to crunch time.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Lamar Heisman winner Lamar Jackson gets hit like a little sissy.
That would not even...
Like, his helmet moved maybe just a little bit, yeah. And all of a sudden, the guy's laughing because he's getting tossed out of the game. Like, it's ridiculous. It's getting out of control, and I hate it.
Yeah, that's the worst rule that has ever come about. And the NFL's getting pretty wimpy about the quarterbacks, too. You can't touch the quarterback really at all.
Yeah, I mean, the guys getting, the guys with CTE aren't the quarterbacks. But I shouldn't say that. I'm sure there's quarterbacks who have suffered long-term brain injuries.
There's plenty, yeah. Gus Farrat's one of them because
he ran into a wall.
Head on,
yeah, that was his own fault. Gus Farrat's just an idiot. But yeah, maybe what are they going to do? Protect the linemen? Like, linemen can now only block with floaties.
Like they do on field goals.
Yeah, they have to wear floaties.
Don't touch the top of the lineman, okay? Just hit the front. You can't do speed rushes, and you can't do bull rushes ever again. Only finesse moves, spins, are only allowed. Otherwise, it's unsportsmanlike. And now in college football, if you get 2 unsportsmanlikes, you get ejected. I don't know why. You can't
What is this game?
You can't even spin the football on the turf. That was taunting on Michigan.
Oh, but in the NFL, you can now celebrate with your teammates again. Man, football's weird. Football's in a weird place, but I love it. I love the game. I always
the best
will.
Sport.
Yeah.
I don't really tend to get this pissed off watching any other sport.
No.
Redskins, I get pissed off. I expect them to lose, and I still lose it. Today I wanted to have...
blocked punt. FSU just blocked a punt.
Speaking of a blocked punt. Oh, there.
FSU
Let me
just
get back
blocked
on
a
the
punt.
Florida game.
Oh,
2 pick sixes
crap.
and a blocked punt, and you lose 33-17. I know, over modulation.
You might be over.
I'm going to stop with the Florida stuff. I'm taking all my Florida stuff and burning it.
Any last Florida words?
We'll bounce back. I strongly believe
Tonight took an L, but
it doesn't matter.
next week you'll bounce back.
27 straight openers that we won. So we finally ended that stretch. But here's the deal. Yes, we play in the SEC, probably the best conference in the world.
Second to the ACC?
Negative. But we will bounce
Positive.
back. We will get our 10, 11 players back from smoking blunts, and they'll come back, and they'll dominate the SEC East. They'll win the SEC East again, and they'll probably go undefeated from here on out. And then we'll face Alabama, the great Alabama Crimson Tide in the SEC Championship just like a year ago, and come in with all this promise, and we'll lose 45-15. Because that's what my teams do. They give me hope, and then they rip my heart out again and make me realize that my team is really not that good. Just like the Nats are going to do to me. Because now we're going to the Nats talk.
Wrong. We're actually not. We're gonna. I know we're not sitting next to each other anymore, and we don't have our script like we normally do because we're doing this whole microphone thing. But we're actually gonna stay on football.
Okay.
It's a much better segue.
Better
It's a better segue. So we're talking about football, and we've kind of been tossed around college and NFL. So now we're just gonna make the short hop, skip, jump over to the NFL. Redskins made their final cuts today. They're probably 3 notable cuts, and then 1 trade.
Yeah.
Cut Nate Sudfeld.
Which is, to me, well, I'm glad they did it, but to me, the 3rd-string quarterback on an NFL roster is the most irrelevant position ever because if you get to the 3rd-string quarterback, just forfeit the season.
It's done.
Yeah. I was really thinking, but now it kind of proves the point to me that Nate Sudfeld was really a Scott McCloughan guy. Scott McCloughan's out the door, and he just now is able to be cut.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. I had not thought of that. But I think they like him. I think the front office still really likes what he... And they're going to try to sign him to the practice squad. Yeah. They want to keep him around, want to develop him. But obviously, if another team wants to sign him...
Yeah, I don't think...
I don't know if another team's going to want to sign him.
I mean, he's got promise.
A bunch of other teams just had to cut their rosters down to 53 as well,
Speaking of that, how about before we get directly into the Redskins talk?
We are already directly into Redskins talk, by the way, for
Brock
about the last 2 minutes.
Osweiler gets traded from the Broncos. Gets released. He didn't even have to play football for the next 8 years. He was guaranteed the most money in the NFL this year, $16 million of cash.
And now he's back on the Broncos.
I don't know.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Back to where he began as a backup quarterback. Still going to make bank this year.
Basically, he just took a couple of years and somehow flipped his payroll like times a billion.
Unbelievable.
And is still doing the same exact job in the same exact place.
Honestly,
the dude's a genius.
If there was one job that I'd rather have than a radio show host someday, it would be backup quarterback. Hold a clipboard, put a headset on, and make millions of dollars.
Are you telling me you don't want to be a radio show host, Cory?
No.
Okay, good.
Was that your Bane voice?
This is my Bane voice. You
were molded by it.
You merely adopted the radio host. I was born in it. Molded by it. The microphones were born with me. They're mine, and I am one with them. You sound more like Darth Vader
than you did Bane.
And kind of a little bit of Yoda. I don't know. I lost it somewhere in the middle there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Second notable cut, Matt Jones. Obviously, we knew that he wasn't going to be around. Either he was going to be traded or he was going to be cut. He was cut.
He was
Redskins,
also the McCloughan guy.
Yep. Redskins. Well, he also just sucks.
I don't know. He had so many
Stop
intangibles.
It.
No, he fumbles too much.
This is Florida bias.
No, it's not.
It's Florida
because
bias.
He sucked at Florida. He never played.
Yeah. And
Mac Brown played over him.
Yeah.
And that's why Mac Brown's on a roster and he's not.
Yeah. Redskins are going to keep Mac